Hello, camped here along the river in this beautiful spot, and I thought I would take this opportunity to give a little walk around tour of my van build. I built it mostly last summer and fall, and I've been using it ever since, and adding and modifying things here and there. Right now, I would call it a rough draft. It's still very much in progress. Um, Nothing is sanded or stained. Very few things are painted or finished. I do plan to finish it as I go, but I do like to sort of use it and figure out, what needs refinement before I really finish things and consider them permanent. So, without further ado, let's take a look inside. First, let's take a look at the driving area. Obviously, passenger seat swivels, have a table here that moves around, can be used by anyone. Of course, it needs to be sanded and stained, just like everything else. I made this cubby here, which I pretty much only made to support the table, and it needs some more work. It's not as sturdy as I would like, but has a lot of storage space under there, and eventually maybe might build a drawer. We'll see. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. This screen is for the dash camera, and I have a camera facing backwards at all times, which is really nice because you can't see out the back. And there are actually cameras under the rearview mirrors there that show my blind spots all along the side of the vehicle. I'll give probably a shot of that. But this is the seat from the passenger seat here, swiveled around. Table is really nice for working or eating, anything really. And we can start to see a bit about the layout of the van here. So the kitchenette, stainless steel top here. If any of you are familiar with my four-wheel camper build a long time ago, it also had a stainless steel countertop, although I wasn't documenting at that time, so that's really for my friends only. I'm currently experimenting with this structure as like an upper shelf. I may continue it all the way around, but we'll see. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I need to figure out a way to stop things from moving around up there. Control panel is over the entrance door. We've got some charging ports. Currently have some things charging up here in the attic. Internet, this is a switch for my Starlink. There was maybe going to be another switch there. Maybe there will in the future. This is the Afterburner, which is an amazing diesel heater controller from Australia. The temperature sensor for it is right here. So it gets pretty good reading of what the temperature of the van is without getting into the sun ever. If it gets into the sun, it turns to 100 real quick. Inverter remote, my Victron battery monitor, and this controls the lights back here, uppers, lowers. Paper towels, sink. I love this flexible faucet. Pretty sweet, and it was also really cheap. Obviously, bar sink with the grate, and a soap dispenser, which is super convenient for washing hands here. Right now I've got the Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap in there. Under the sink, we've got the trash, small trash can. This is something I just added, coffee maker. So this does, obviously, your pot of coffee with a basket filter. It also does K-cups. Whatever you want, I'll make it for you, or bring your own pods, even better. Moving along, upper drawer is going to be my utensils, cooking utensils. I have all these disposable chopsticks, which I like to use. And then my spices are in a silverware organizer to keep them organized. The salt has been leaking, see, which is very much showing off the advantage to this style of storing the spices. In the next drawer down, I've got a cutting board, my then I've got my induction cooktop here, which I use like so, sometimes sideways, depending on what I want to put on there. In my other van build, I loved the induction so much that I bought this really nice one. I want to say this is like $200 or something. Well worth it. Loving induction cooking. We've got the microwave, which this is that brand. It does convection, air fry, microwave. I thought it would be really cool, and I now only use it as a microwave. The air frying functionality is not good. It actually kind of sucks. You can bake stuff, but I don't really see the need. I'd rather just microwave things, but it does work well. Probably needs to be cleaned. I love using a microwave in the van. It's very convenient, very power efficient, and no cleanup. So down here I have like pots and pans, these in and out trays, which I love for just serving things or having stuff around the van. Some cups, measurer, paper bowls, cast iron pots, more dish towels, sort of in between everything to keep things from rattling too much. But also because dish towels are really useful to clean up your messes when you're living in a little space like this. So, moving on, this drawer is very long, and I keep some random things: lighters, hot sauces, tomato sauces, drink mixes, instant coffee, lemonade, another lighter, tahine, some extra toothpaste, and I think there's a manual toothbrush down in there just in case I forget my nice one. It just always stays here. A couple of glass bowls. I love these glass bowls because they have lids, and that's just great for microwaving anything that's gonna be splattery. I just got this little milk frother that came with a whisk attachment. Haven't used it on anything yet, but pretty excited to be able to mix up something, especially if I do like a chai tea latte. I actually got some coconut milk powder that I'm looking out to try soon to do that, and I can do like a frothed milk latte perhaps. Moving down here behind this shelf, the reason it doesn't go very far back is the water tank. It's 16 gallons. So I've got random pantry items. What is this? Coconut shavings, almonds, powdered milk, sugar, some coffee, more coffee, mocha pot, which this one is the induction mocha pot, which I love for an afternoon espresso. Coconut oil, some peanut butter, more peanut butter. This is a little humidifier, which is great in the high desert or alpine environments. Vaseline is really good for the door seals because if you're going in winter like I do, you can get frozen in and it can be really hard to open the doors. So put Vaseline on the door seals. That basically displaces the water, so the water can't freeze the door to the door frame. Powdered coffee creamer, not my style, but sometimes people that I go camping with like cream in their coffee. Powdered peanut butter for smoothies, and the battery powered blender, and some bananas to make one in the morning tomorrow. Mandatory s'mores materials are on deck at all times. Over here is my other sort of pantry storage. Oatmeals, dry goods, canned goods, and then fridge. This is the Dometic CFX 355 IM, so it can make ice, in fact, if you want it to. This is on the slide. I added insulation in here around the fridge to try and make it more efficient. That's the garage back there. I thought about blocking off the access there, but I kind of like having access to it. We'll see what happens eventually. And then everything back there is the bed, the master bed that comes down, and I'll show. Here I've got a sunroof. This is where my Starlink normally sits. Got power to it going there, but right now obviously we're under a tree, so It's sitting out in an open area running on my Milwaukee M18 batteries. I normally keep this covered with a Reflectix, but it's really nice weather right now, so I figured I'd like the natural light. The Max Air fan seems to be a fan favorite among van builds, so I went ahead and got it, and I'm very much pleased with it. I really like the auto setting, so I can leave the van in a parking lot, and if the van gets too hot, this thing opens up and turns itself on, and then throttles itself based on how hot it is. Right, so this couch, it serves a few different functions, which I will cover now. Obviously, it's great for seating 3 people. I've been able to host up to 5 people, including myself, in here during a blizzard when we were snowboarding. 3 were on the couch, 1 in the driver's seat, 1 in the passenger seat, and then we had a large dog wandering around through the aisle as well. So this is couch mode. This mode is self-explanatory. This is a dinette. 2 can sit across from each other. Sometimes I work on my laptop here at the table. Just like everything else, this is a rough draft, so it'll either be remade or it'll be sanded and stained when I decide that it's perfect and that it's permanent. For now, I would consider this temporary. The final configuration for the couch is the guest bed. This is the original design configuration of the guest bed, and with this configuration, the master bed can still be set up because it sits at counter height, and someone can sleep on the guest bed with their head towards the front of the van. However, the cushions tend to separate. It's not a great design overall, and I'm definitely going to be rethinking it. So there is an even better way to set up the guest bed using the cushions without extending the platform into the aisle. I can do a guest bed that's slightly smaller than a twin. Let's do that. These smaller cushions are not used. And then the remaining 4 cushions are simply placed end to end like so. And this setup is 6 foot. Let's just take a rest. I've got my 2 large batteries under here. I have a carbon monoxide alarm here, which the only reason for that is running the diesel heater, of course, because all my cooking is electric. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the main bed for you. The main bed sits at about counter level. It actually uses the counter as a support. So there's not a ton of headroom, but it really does allow for tons of space in here when we're in the daytime. Really, daytime convenience is prioritized here versus the advantages that having a fixed bed come with. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. This bed is 76 inches long and 53 inches wide, which I think is like roughly full, but I don't remember. It's very comfortable and it works great. And I'm going to put it away now. So that's the master bed. That about sums it up. I'm sure I'll be making some more videos with a little more detail about some of these systems. Let me know, what you want to learn about. Happy to answer questions.